Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We did the story about the rail fare increase earlier today. Well, Fiona Hyslop has gone on the offensive, if you like. She's being interviewed, and she's going, "Oh well, yes, but they don't come in until April, and the other thing doesn't end until June, and all this." And she is literally unaware, I think, of the massive problems this is going to cause for a lot of people who aren't particularly highly paid, but who rely on the trains for transport to and from work. It doesn't affect her, of course. She's on a massive salary, 118,000 a year, plus as much pie as she can get in. And of course, she doesn't see the future. She doesn't see the consequences. She doesn't see beyond her next meal. For her, life is easy. It's the people that she's destroying, the lifestyle she's destroying, that are the true victims here. So we'll take a look at this, see what she said in this meeting, and just goes to show how out of touch with reality and with normal people, not just Fiona, but all of them truly are, as a result of what has gone on in the last few days with this budget and basically the sheer collapse of everything that the SNP are trying to do. It's bad. Anyway, here goes. Do you know, the funny thing is, every time I see Fiona, I always think, where's Shrek? Anyway, SNP's Fiona Hyslop oblivious to the eye-watering hike in rail fares during a car crash interview. Well, rather more a train crash interview. Huh? No, that was a rubbish joke. I apologise and we'll move on. The SNP Transport Minister has been told of her backing of the increase is astonishing. Well, she doesn't understand the implications of it. When you're on a salary like that and you have chauffeur driven that and you're living the life of luxury and nobody will gainsay anything you do, you have no connection to normal people. You've no connection to the reality that 99% of the people of this country face. She sits there in an ivory tower making edicts and saying things, unaware of what it truly is to live a life of not live her life, I should say. She has no idea at all. And she thinks, oh, it's only a little increase. It might be a little increase when you're earning £130,000 a year with your expenses. But it's an eye-watering increase when you're relying on it to get to work because you're on £27,000 a year and you've got childcare costs and, and your prices are going up nearly 10%. It's ridiculous, woman. Anyway, Transport Minister Fiona Hyslop has been told she is completely oblivious to the reality of ScotRail fare hikes. They're expected to rise by nigh on 10% from April 24. Speaking on the BBC, the SNP MSP said the cost of increase for ScotRail fares will not stop travellers, but has been told by the Scottish Tories that she's out of touch. I think there will be a few that won't be able to afford to go on the train every day. I think it may well stop some fares. And otherwise, it's just basically a commuter tax, as I said earlier. Oh, well, we won't, they've got to use them. We can put them up as much as we like. We'll peel these people. We'll peel them for every penny they've got. That's literally what they are. Gressingham, was it? Was it Gressingham? Bannockburn? And he was the English tax collector, wasn't he? They peeled him, didn't they? They used his skin. They pulled his skin off him. Well, that's what she's trying to do to commuters now. Anyway, backing her government stance, she said the increases don't start until April and pointed to the ongoing removal of peak fares that are going to continue until next June. June next year. Yes, so they removed the peak fares, but they're coming back because, they need the money. Now, because they own the rails, the money they make is essentially a tax. It's a commuter tax. And they need to put that up because they need to get as much cash in as possible because, it's important that they spend all the money they can get on an independence wet dream that can never happen. Conservative shadow transport spokesman Graham Simpson said Fiona Hyslop seems completely oblivious to what the eye-watering hike in rail fares will mean for hard-pressed Scots. Workers who've already been punished by Shona Robinson's budget are now being asked by the SNP to fork out almost 9% more in rail fares. But the Transport Minister only showed how out of touch she is about that reality. She doesn't care. She literally doesn't care. As long as she can waddle into Holyrood, sit down, put her expense claims in, Greg's, and then waddle back out after, giving some waffly old speech about bollocks, and then go and stand and look how important I am in front of the TV. God, it sounds like me, doesn't it? Except no Greg's. I'm not having that. Also, I'm not paid by the public purse. I'm not the one sitting there destroying people's lives by deliberately harming them. So no, I'm not having that. It is funny though, isn't it? Anyway, he said it was astonishing to hear her dismiss fears that this will put people off from travelling on the SNP's nationalised network simply because they have delayed the increase for a few months. But when it does cut in April, people are going to suffer big time. With the rail budget also being cut, it appears the SNP's latest Transport Minister is failing in her role of fighting for greater investment in her portfolio. Alongside these hikes and unreliable services, passengers are getting a raw deal under the SNP. You're paying more and more money, getting a worse and worse service, and for heaven's sake, sometimes the trains don't even turn up. You can't get into work, your boss moans at you, and what's the bloody point anymore? Seriously, that is what they're doing. And it's all deliberate. You know it's deliberate because they get told in advance what will happen, and then they do it, and then exactly what they were told would happen happens. You'd think they'd learn, but they're not very bright, so no, learning's hard. And that's where you are. That's what you are getting with these people. And yet, you still get the likes of George in the comments defending these people. Why, George? Are you really that stupid? Yes. Anyway, the decision comes just 24 hours after the Scottish Government announced an £80 million cut to rail funding in Shona Robinson's historically bad budget, which we covered earlier. I'm not going to go over that again. But yeah, she's sitting there, and it just goes to show how out of touch she is with real people, with the people who actually are suffering at the pointy end of everything that the SNP do. Cutting all the services, taxes up, commuter taxes going up, everything is going up because they are so inefficient, so stupid, so wasteful, and they're chasing this imaginary wet dream of independence, which even they know they can never get. But they've still got to spend millions upon millions of pounds on it just to make it look like they're doing something to their members. Their members would rather, I think, you stop spending money on independence for 5 minutes and put it into the things that the members want. Education for their kids, hospitals that don't have 6-year waiting lists, doctors that you can actually see. But no, that's not the SNP way. Destruction is all now. They want to actually have a scorched earth policy because they know the gig's up and whoever comes in is not going to be able to save it. It's got to be made so bad as to be totally unsavable, and that is exactly what they're doing, and they're salting all that money away ready for the flights out come the last day. As the tanks come up the road, Big Ali will be in his bunker. You'll hear a couple of shots, but the rest of them will be skedaddling out, getting out on the planes. South America, probably. Anyway, I shall stop there, round off, come up, and we'll finish this video and then move on to what will probably be the last video of the day. And it's a bit of a funny one, so do please hit there. Coming up. None of the SNP are really in touch with reality, are they? They're all delusional, or evil, or stupid. Can't think of many that aren't, There's some that are okay-ish. There's a couple that you actually would get on quite well with. I think I could sit in Fergus Ewing's company and have a conversation with him, in a bar, across a pint. I'd have no problem with that. I think Kate, much the same. Kate Forbes, much the same. There are a couple. Even Ivan, I don't think he comes across too badly. But there's some of them that are absolutely monstrous in what they're doing. And it is just a shame because the people of Scotland are suffering so bad of it. I have family and friends that they say I have one friend who's actually thinking of leaving Scotland and coming to England. He says because he just cannot live here anymore, or live there. His words, cannot live here anymore. In my point, live there anymore. And he's thinking of moving down. I said, what, just across the border or what? He says no. He says if he's moving all the way down. He wants to get as far away as possible. Well, fair enough. That's how bad it is. People are leaving. Never mind. And he's quite a well-paid man, let me tell you. So, of course, all his taxes come. He won't be the only one, and he won't be the last. So, anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I did mention there's another one coming. It's a nice, easy one to end the day on. And it will be ending not the week, but it'll be ending the normal ones now, because as it's going forward, it's going to be into the Christmas break. So I'll still be doing them, but there'll be a lot fewer for the next few days. Really, I'll be back Boxing Day or the day after Boxing Day for normal. So I'm entering my my festive period now. But I'll repeat this again at the beginning of the next one, because some people won't see the end, they switch off. If you're here, thank you. If not, well, sayonara, suckers. I will speak to you the next time. Bye.